Well, Harry, it's the most heartbreaking way for your tournament to end. I know it's going to be incredibly raw, but what are your immediate thoughts?
Yeah, just gutted for the boys, gutted for everyone, the team, the staff, the fans. Yeah, we played a good game for the large majority of it. Once we went 1-0 up, we seemed to just try and hold on, which, you know, at this level is not enough. So just gutted because we've worked so hard to be here, and the lads have given every last bit of running, sweat, blood, tears, whatever it is. So to fall short like we did today is just gutted.
Why was it so hard to get any momentum after the goal, do you think?
Yeah, we struggled to get pressure on the ball. I thought, especially first half and start of the second half, we pressed them well. We put them under loads of pressure, especially high up the pitch, which then allowed us to win balls, control the game a little bit better. After the goal, whether it's them putting more men forward or us just not being able to match them man for man, it just was wave after wave, and we were trying to hold on. Lads were putting blocks in, but in the end, it was just it wasn't enough.
Did it feel at the end that after the exertion you put in the last two games, perhaps it was almost one ask too far to find another response?
Yeah, I don't know. The boys always are ready for any moment in the game, and when we went ahead, the messaging was to go again and get another goal, and and then obviously once they scored their 2 goals, it was to try and find something, but we couldn't quite get the momentum back in the game.
You're having to do this interview down the Argentina end of the pitch as well, which makes it even more difficult, but what can England learn from this? What can you take forward?
Yeah, we had a lot of good moments in this tournament, a lot of good games, another semi-final. We talk about knocking on the door, we're close, we just need to find that missing piece in the final stage of the tournament. You know, these tournaments take it out of you, so much effort and pressure and mentality, and we've shown a lot of that throughout the whole 6-7 weeks we've been together. But yeah, we're just missing that final piece.
Thanks for talking to us, Harry.
Thank you.
Well, we did it, didn't we? We did it in the Croatia game, and one of the goals that they scored is when England was really deep. And you've been saying all tournament that they need to get further up the pitch. And the differences between, you mentioned it, Joe, with Mexico and Norway, they didn't quite have the quality on the day. If you give Lionel Messi that time and space, you will get punished, and that ultimately was the difference.
He's the kind of player in those moments, like we say, we talked about Norway and especially Mexico. They panicked. They were just whipping balls in. Dan Burn was licking his lips, heading everything clear. I didn't see one bit of panic from that Argentinian side. I saw belief. I saw them realising they could finally free up the great man in that pocket, and they were running all over England.
Anthony Barry said at half-time, didn't he, to us, that they were better when they were on the front foot, when they were playing it in the Argentinian half. That's what they wanted, and that obviously changed when they went 1-0 up. And you know, looking at the substitutions, you know, the first substitution, which was the goal scorer Anthony Gordon off and Konsa coming on, was on 72 minutes. So you're still looking there, aren't you, Wayne, that you're going to have to play over 20 minutes, probably 25 minutes.
You are, and then if they get one goal, you go into extra time with the disorganised, a team who's not set up to go on and win the game. But it's a panic, it's a real panic, and you know, you can't go a goal up and then surrender the ball and surrender any opportunity of going to try and get the second goal, because that's what you want to do. You want to be on the front foot. The pressure's on Argentina to get back in the game. So if you go and get pressure on the ball, put tackles in, make runs in behind, they're feeling it, and they're like, oh, we don't feel we get back in this game. If you let them players that quality have the ball around your penalty box, sooner or later they're gonna score.
I think Gareth Southgate will be at home watching this game, and he took a lot of criticism when it came to the big moments with England, when they had the lead and when they were in big games, about shutting up shop, and I don't see anything's changed in that big moment out there. But Thomas Tuchel, for as much praise as we've given him, for him to change it as soon as he did, I think he realised that's him saying that he didn't believe in his team. He didn't think they could land any more punches on Argentina.
Well, I think you summed it up perfectly there. Tuchel was brought in to be the difference. Tactically, we all thought he got it wrong today. In terms of the team,
not with the starting team.
No, in terms of the changes when we went to 5 at the back. I thought we could have kept the momentum going and brought on wingers and gone a little bit higher up the pitch, but ultimately we just didn't have the answers.
But if you're on that pitch, if you're an attacking player on the pitch and you go 1-0 up, and then you see the changes which the manager's making, you're losing belief in it. And you're thinking, it's only so many times you can get away with it. But then you start thinking, oh no, we're going to sit back for this long. How are we going to get through this?
Let's be honest about the whole situation. Mexico, outstanding. Passion, desire, all the things that we want. Dug in against Norway. But really, they've not played well all tournament, have they? They've had moments. And we said about moments in this tournament, played so well today in that first half, you know, stuck to the task defensively. But it was only going to be a moment that was going to win again because we've not been playing free-flowing football. Up until they scored their goal, we had the Spence tackle, outstanding. We had Jordan Pickford, great save. We had Jude Bellingham running up and down, doing all the stuff for his teammates. We talked about the wide areas where one crossed into the other. So there were so many good things about it. But throughout the tournament, we've not played amazingly well.
But if it is about moments,
Correct.
if it's been mainly about moments, why reduce the opportunity to have those moments by making more and more defensive changes and going further back?
Chappers, can I just say one thing before these guys who are behind us, before they leave? I think it's important we acknowledge as former players the outstanding effort, the outstanding passion that they've put into this tournament. Don't get twisted, it was a disappointing end to this game. But those boys have given you absolutely everything they possibly can. The coaching staff, all right, it's on decisions sometimes, but too many times I've gone out of tournaments and looked disappointed and been absolutely hammered, and rightly so, because sometimes you not perform well. But I think it's really important to acknowledge the effort and energy and passion that team have shown and thrown into it and representing the badge.
I may get this completely wrong in the coming days, but I don't get a sense they're going to be hammered. Do you?
I'm not talking about hammered.
Right. You said being hammered in the past.
I just want to acknowledge, as a former professional who's got a microphone in his hand and everyone's listening, the effort and energy that's gone in. I know that's not enough sometimes, and we've already had people that are within our vicinity telling us how much they paid to get here, and we respect all that, and those players respect all that. But I still think it's important that when you get to a semi-final of World Cup, something that none of us have achieved, by the way, and we're here.
I think what Harty's saying is, them players have given everything to try and win the tournament, and so did we, so did every other player, every other England squad to go to a tournament. You give everything, so you get knocked out. We're all gutted, we're all devastated. The players are devastated, the fans you can see around us are absolutely devastated. These fans have spent a lot of money as well to be out here and support the team. So we expect more. I expected more in this game. I thought we could do a lot better, especially when we went 1-0.
But your point, I'll go to Alan in a minute, but your point is it's not all on them. They weren't helped themselves by the decisions.
No, it's not. No, of course it's not. Listen, Argentina are the world champions. They're the holders, so we knew it was going to be difficult. I just felt that the changes we made, didn't help us when we 1-0 up. It didn't help us. So, yeah, we're devastated. And listen, sometimes you need a bit of luck, and you do need a bit of luck to win these tournaments.
They're on a difficult walk at the moment, are the England players, because they're walking back to the far side of the stadium, which is where the Argentinian fans are at the moment, which is why you might be able to hear a few of the whistles there. Let's go up to the commentary box and talk to Alan Shearer. You've heard what everybody's been saying here in the studio. Do you feel the same about the substitutions that Thomas Tuchel's maybe called between wanting to try and sit out the game, but that was going to be over 20 minutes, and really it just invited more and more pressure?
Yeah, I said it during commentary, Chappers, didn't I, in terms of they've now got 6 defenders on the pitch. He played his hand. He knew that he was wanting to hang on. And the difference is hanging on against Norway or hanging on against Mexico, as we were, perhaps haven't got the quality that this team have got, Argentina, in terms of the ability on the ball and the ability to punish you. And also their attitude, you know, is that I was so impressed with them not panicking. But yeah, he played his cards very, very early, Thomas, in the hope that he'd hang on, and it's backfired. But those split decisions are the ones that make such a difference, and we were all praising him for what he did, and we're going to 5 at the back in the previous 2 games when England were under huge pressure. Now I guess we're going to go the other way now and think, could he have just changed it slightly different and put a bit more pace on? Because I said everything was coming back at England. They didn't have an outlet, because whenever they won the ball, they had no energy. They were physically and mentally done once Argentina had got that first goal.
in all of this, and when you lose a game like this and go out to Argentina, it's probably difficult to hear as well. But you have to give Argentina huge credit, don't you? You have to give them huge credit for the way they came back into that, the chances that they created, the fact that several times in this tournament they have kept going and kept going. They've scored 8 goals from the 75th minute onwards at this tournament.
They're champions for a reason, because it's not just about ability, it's about know-how, and it's about an attitude when things are going against you, when you're suffering, is to believe in who you are and what you are, and you've got to give them great respect for doing that. The best team have won tonight. I don't think anyone can complain. They put England under huge pressure. They hit the post a couple of times. McAllister should have scored with that diving header. They got the 2 goals. They were the best team, as much as that hurts to say. But on the other side, from an English point of view, when you come off the pitch knowing you've given everything, you've given all, I don't think anyone can complain with that, and these England players have.
Alan, thank you very much. Let's get some reaction from the England camp. Here's the captain, Harry Kane, with Kelly. Come back to one of the things he said to Kelly there, Michael, which was, at this level, it's not enough to hold on.
No, and Wayne's exactly right in what he said in terms of the drop too deep. When they scored that first goal, they should have went for the second. I wanted positive substitutions to take the game to Argentina. Yes, you've got to respect their quality, but all it did when they dropped deep is allowed Argentina to get into their flow. And at this level, you get punished. That's the difference. And I think for all the effort that the players have, they've been absolutely outstanding. Digging in, not played well all tournament, but they've been digging in at the right moments, getting over the line. So when you look at it, you have to look at the manager and his decisions to go that deep so early. Harry Kane said then it was about going to get the next goal.
It didn't look like that. It didn't look
like that. Of course, the opposition were applying pressure. They made subs themselves. They was chasing the game. They brought on Martinez. He gets a goal. However, it was just too deep. They made it too easy for Argentina in that second half.
I don't know if this is an unfair comparison or not. You tell me. Spain went a goal up last night against France and stayed in control. It's not, they didn't go flying forward looking for the second, the third, and the fourth, although they got a second, but they managed to control it. Yeah, is that the difference?
Yeah, well, they didn't sit inside their own penalty box. They have control by taking the ball, by moving the ball, moving it quick with a quick tempo. I think once we got the first goal, and Mika's absolutely right when he said, when we got the first goal, we didn't look to go in time to score the second goal. Far from it, we made changes and we dropped in. So for the players, for me, Thomas Tuchel's made the decision. And when you make a decision, it's a gamble. And the gamble he made was to go with the 5 at the back, which allowed them to dictate the game. Then we couldn't get out. It kept coming back, wave after wave after wave. Messi knew the space was out on the right. Me and Joe were watching him. He stood there, he didn't move. And all Argentina did was pick the second ball up, give it to Messi, let him go and try and do his thing. And we got punished.
You mentioned the Spain game, though, Chappers. What they do better than we do, they keep hold of the ball.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They control it.
They give it to Rodri, they give it to Fabian Ruiz, they give it to Olmo, Pedri comes on the game, and they control the game. When we're on the ball, and Tuchel's style of play, and it's worked in certain aspects, but when we can't have runners going from deep, we don't keep the ball well enough.
I didn't see any patterns of play that could have kept us the ball. Now, for all the hard work and everything they've gone through in this tournament, they didn't have that default. Play it around, little angles. We showed it before the game. Egypt just keeping calm, drawing them out, getting Martinez, getting Romero out of position. You've got to bring them out and still be calm on the ball. Now, easier said than done, of course it is. But I didn't see anything when the back was against the wall other than the old school, get it up the pitch and see what numbers we can get around it.
How difficult are patterns of play to implement as an outfield player when the changes keep coming? I go back to the Norway game, the report looking at Elliot Anderson, people who analyse that game, he played 4 different positions over the course of that game. How hard are those patterns of play?
I think even with players in a normal shape, it's against Argentina who go and press and try to win the ball back quick, it's very difficult. But when we got the ball, we had no outlet, so all we were doing was kicking it long, they pick it up, come again. So it's impossible. It's impossible. But for me, the biggest thing is, when Thomas Tuchel was making them changes, 100% them players will be stood on the pitch thinking, oh no. They will have known what was coming. They would have known it was coming at them, and they would have had to have a massive amount of luck to see the game out.
Because none of those, when we look at those substitutions, and this is where Micah needs to go closer to the screen so you can see it. But when you look at those substitutions there, none of them are like for like, are they?
No, they're not like for like. But it's worked before in previous games, so he stuck to the task. The difference is he came up with a quality opposition today. But yeah, I just thought it was too negative. I really did.
Harry's such an honest interviewer. So I'm thinking maybe from another point of view, from Thomas Tuchel, maybe did encourage England to go and get the second goal, and then very quickly realised we're not capable of getting the second goal, and that's why he made the decisions. Because I don't think Harry Kane would say that for any other reason than that was the message that was gone on. If we do score, we keep pushing, and that's maybe why Tuchel made the decision to do what he did.
The difference was bravery on the ball. When we scored the golden goal, absolutely outstanding.
Well, go on, then take us through it.
About the wide areas. I said it at half-time. I talked about concentrating, and I talked about this is where you can hurt him. Joe talked about Kane potentially dropping into these areas, dragging people out. See Paredes there, going with him. And as the ball recycles now, they're just waiting for that right moment. Now he can play him into these areas. Gordon and Rodgers high and wide. Absolutely perfect. This is the bravery I'm talking about. And now they've got a decision to make. And it's one winger to the other. They win the second ball, and now they're attacked. They're ready, got forward runners. And that's how England play. That's what you call bravery. Getting the ball on the half turn, in the ascendancy, doing what you need to do, and then having the composure at the end of it, and having that confidence to take the lead. That's England at their best. But when the game got a little bit stretched, and they've got to keep the foot on the ball a little bit, and Argentina are pressing you a little bit more, that's when you need the bravery. That is the difference. When you talk about teams like Spain, every single one of their players wants to deal with the ball. You can trust them in defence, you can trust them at the back, but from England's point of view, from Gordon there, the finish, outstanding. What a moment for him.
That was England just exposing everything that was difficult about this Argentina team when it can come unstuck. In terms of dragging them in, staying calm on the ball, blindside runners, they're not very good at checking their shoulders, all those sorts of things. And then from that moment on, everything was in front of Argentina, and they're able to take their time, calculated risks, getting bodies around the ball. I think throughout the whole game, probably the first 70 minutes, it was one-on-one battles. So when it came to the tackle, Argentina were wary that if they didn't win it, they were getting hurt. And I think as soon as we scored the goal, we weren't moving us forward as much. They were able to go 2, 3, 4, and they were able to smash it off England and turn it over so easily.
And at the Enzo goal, we talked about Messi before the game in terms of where he wants to operate. Here he is.
So many short corners as well.
Yeah. But they're not even, look at what did I say about concentration? No one's looking at the ball. So now Spencer's faced with a 2v1, and everyone's drawn towards the ball, leave the space for Enzo Fernandez. It's a wonderful, wonderful finish. But this is the difference. He needs backup, he needs help. You're going into a World Cup final potentially. That's where you need to have that desire, the concentration and organisation.
England were wobbling, Micah. They were wobbling. Pickford had made a very good save a few minutes before, and he just tipped that one over, and they were just trying to take a breath, and that is when top players come alive. England knew that they just thought they could take their eye off the ball for a couple of seconds whilst they got set for this corner, and Messi went absolutely not. 1-2, Enzo Fernandez in the pocket. Brilliant strike, brilliant goal.
And they'd also hit the post twice as well, hadn't they? They did a great Pickford save. They've hit the post twice, and you said at that point, England are in trouble now.
Yeah, well, I felt the change was made at 1-0. If Argentina scored, we wouldn't make extra time. And I felt that. I said it to all of us in here. I said we won't make extra time because of how we were defending and trying to defend. But then we sat back, and Messi was causing us all kinds of problems. They had other chances. They could have scored many goals, but the second goal, okay. So you look at Messi here, he highlights it before the game. He doesn't move. He's not moving. All the England team go over to one side of the pitch. He hasn't moved. Argentina then hit the post. Now he's in space. Now he's free. Now again, Jed Spence spinning round, doesn't get out of the ball. Bellingham comes out. O'Reilly comes out. Messi on his right foot. It's a wonderful cross and a wonderful header, but we just lacked energy, we lacked desire to get to the ball. We sat back with no pressure on the ball, and when you do that, if you have no pressure on the ball, you get hurt.
But Joe, your point was he'd stood in that spot virtually for 20 minutes.
Yeah, and look, how many times have people come off the games and gone, Messi just stood there? So you've got to credit the man. England haven't been sloppy. It's not like they've unearthed some amazing talent that Lionel Messi's got. He's an absolute genius, and his composure in the moment, that's what it is. So he mixed it up so much. Sometimes he whipped the ball in early. Sometimes he looked for 1-2s. There he's gone on the outside with a right foot perfect cross. But the players just play to what he does. He is the lead of that orchestra, and he's just absolutely brilliant.
And just to highlight as well where Lionel Messi was, we have his heat map from 1-0 onwards, and just sat in that right. Well, not sat, but I mean, walking around in that right channel.
That's because you go with the back five, and then your midfield are tighter, and that's where the space is. The fullback gets pinned back. That's where your space is, and then all of a sudden you're on your 6-yard box, and you've got the best player ever to play the game in areas where he can come onto his left foot, or like the goal he went down the right. It was inevitable they were going to score. You could feel it.
He worked the game out the whole time. He realised that in the middle, where he's usually good enough, but he realised the level. He was getting hit from all angles. So he just calculates, how am I going to affect this game? And as the game went on and England scored, that was his moment. He knew he was going to get. As soon as England made those changes, that was the area that he had to maintain. And he did it with absolute brilliance and such prowess.
Did you want to see that goal again? Was this where you spotted?
Yeah,
all right, let's
show
the second goal again.
Because it's important. It's the concentration that you need at the elite level. And when the ball, you see Messi in these positions, what did I say before the game? You've always got to be scanning where they are. When the ball, they've got 4 players against 1 in the middle of the box. No one's communicating, and now you've got a problem. Spence tries to win the ball, he was outstanding all game, gets a little injury. Now, here, Messi, you cannot let Messi beat you down the line when it's 2v1. That's impossible to do. One's got to engage the goal, and then one's got to cover round. And Spence is tied there, so he needs O'Reilly, he needs help. You can't let Messi in these positions get up to speed. As soon as that ball went out to him, you've got to run over that ball as soon as possible. Everyone thinks sometimes when you go to a 5 at the back, it's easier. Sometimes it's actually harder, because when you're in a straight 5, when you have to engage the ball, if O'Reilly's not switched on, he was in midfield in that position, but he wasn't sort of left midfield, he was sort of inside left. So when the ball goes wide, then the ball having to go to the ball, and it's too late. When I was at 4-3-3 in the first, it worked perfectly because Gordon was given the protection that he was need. The distances were absolutely brilliant, and it nullified the threat. As soon as it went to that 5, yes, it's defensive, yes, it's worked before, but when you have a man of this quality on the picture, you will get punished.
Another problem with going to a back 3 or a back 4, a back 5, or even a back 6, as we was a lot of the second half there, is when the ball's out wide. Normally, if there's 2 centre-backs, you know your spacing, you know your distance from your centre-back to then get yourself ready and set to go and head the ball. When you've got next to defender in there, then all of a sudden you start thinking, oh, he'll deal with it. And so you
it's confusing.
You don't get yourself in the right position, and then that's what happens. So I just think that the decisions Thomas Tuchel made, and I think we have to be honest on this, have cost us tonight.
And how perfect was that ball, by the way, on his right foot. You saw England's 3 centre-halves, none of them anywhere near it, yet they were still only 10 yards away from each other. It was absolute perfection, and a brilliant header as well. Do not get away from that run, arriving late and having the composure and the agility to get over it and head it down.
I mean, that's the other thing in all of this. And by the way, we're waiting for Thomas Tuchel. He's still in the England dressing room at the moment, so as soon as he comes out, we will bring you that interview as well. They have been unlocked by common consensus, the greatest player the world has ever seen.
What did I say before? There's moments in game. It's either going to be Kane, it's going to be Bellingham. Okay, Gordon got his moment today, but Messi. That's why he's the greatest. That's why you have to concentrate. And in the first half, they did it ever so well. Heart, desire, everything. Second half, game opened up. Give them too much respect. Drop too deep, and not engaging the ball, not jumping at the right times. And I feel that was a mentality thing. When we walked in the stadium here, the aura that Messi was walking through, we thought we're in for a big game here. And then it's almost like the players sort of bought into that too. I give him too much respect. In the first half, they gave him no respect. Tackles flying in, but look at this.
There's only a few players. There's only a few players in the history of the game where sometimes you'd have to do something a bit different for your team. And I remember we done it with Pirlo. We nullified Pirlo's game. Messi, at that moment, you have to say, right, I'm going to go man to man. We're going to have a player on him at all times, and then you play a 10v10 game, try and take him out the game and have someone just staying on him all the time.
But what did I say? What did I say about in terms of the setup? because England were then out of 5, and then it was sort of 4 and then a 1 or a 3 and then a 2 at times, and you're taking your position off the ball. When the ball's on that side, everyone's ball watching. They're not worrying what's happening behind you, what Messi was doing. And that is why he's such a genius. He can walk as much as he wants because he can produce that. It's so difficult to mark. You asked me before how do we stop Messi? At times it is impossible because he feels though he's not alive, and he comes alive at the right moments.
Well, I think it's his lack of emotion that is his absolute strength, because both of the goals come off the back of being under the cosh, Pickford making a good save. Is Lionel Messi throwing his hands on his head thinking, are we going to score? No, he immediately sees that England have just tried to take a breather. They sat down in the corner like, right, here we go. And even before they get to here we go again, he's gone.
Do you think he thinks there was an inevitability that they were going to get back into that?
He's emotionless, and with great power, like he doesn't think like, if I'm seeing that chance, especially the second one, as the ball ricochets and hits the post, at least thinking about touching my head and saying, oh my God, he doesn't. His emotion doesn't change. He was forcing that at the end. The whole stadium's singing his name, and he was forcing giving them what they want, because that's what he has to do as one of the world's greatest players. But it's not naturally who he is. He just thinks see ball, get ball, score goal or create goal, and he did that twice when England were just showing a bit of human side.
It's their experience as well. Argentina obviously have been in the situation.
Those 6 semi-finals that was talking about.
Yeah, so they've got the experience of not panicking. And you hear like pundits, ex-players talking about being patient. And being patient is in your defending as well. So making them go from side to side, making them pass the ball back, then moving up the pitch as a back line. And I think we lost our patience, we panicked, and then it was inevitable that they were going to unlock the door.
And when you talk about experience, and you've been with us throughout the majority of this journey with this England team, that's 2 Euros finals now, and 2 World Cup semi-finals, and a World Cup quarter-final as well in the midst of all of that. So at what point do you go, yes, we're building an experience, and at what point do you think, my God, at some point they've got to get over the next hurdle?
No, first of all, it's great, to be doing that consecutive. That's good for the country, it's good for the players. I just felt now was our moment. Harry Kane, form of his life. Jude Bellingham playing some of the best football of his career. Yes, it was a little bit slow at Real Madrid. He comes into the tournament, he's refreshed, he's playing well. I felt something like they had a different way about them in terms of going to the Azteca and performing in that way, and then getting over the line against Norway. Not playing well, but getting over the line. And when they went 1-0 up, now I thought, this England team will do it. This England team will do it. We heard Jude Bellingham's interviews in terms of they don't crumble, and he gave me that belief with his performances, his attitude, and the players giving it everything. But ultimately, tactically, we got outshone tonight.
Listen, we've crumbled.
Yeah.
As Jude said, we don't crumble. We've crumbled tonight. We're 1-0 up with not long to go. And then I think it's come from the manager. That started from the manager, and then the players on the pitch not getting the pressure on the ball. But I think it's more from the manager tonight, the decision to make.
I'm sure some things will come out in the coming days and weeks. I do wonder how much Declan Rice's fitness became a real issue for them, because he had to take him off again tonight.
He did struggle. He struggled, and obviously in that centre mid, I think we took him for granted a little bit in terms of how we set the team up. Declan Rice needed to be able to be top of the running stats, creation, taking free kicks, taking corners, and that long, hard season that he had with Arsenal's caught up with him. But that's what happens at these tournaments. The best players, and I'm not knocking Declan for this because you can't help how you feel or physically or with your illness, but it's caught up with him, and he's such an important player for England. And I'm sure Anderson did everything he possibly could to fill that void, but there's no doubt that Declan, the latter end of this tournament, has struggled a little bit.
Thomas Tuchel has come out of the England dressing room, and we can hear from him now.
Well, Thomas, the World Cup journey ends here at the semi-final. What are your immediate thoughts at full-time?
Yeah, we're disappointed. We were so close, but we got too passive after we scored and conceded a lot of chances and could not turn the ball possession around. And just conceded so many crosses and chances and shots. So yeah, we were close, but couldn't keep the level up after we scored.
You've made defensive substitutions in the past couple of matches when we have gone ahead in a game. You did the same again today. Why do you feel they didn't work today?
Yeah, I did also offensive substitutions in the last games. We just tried to help the player. We conceded straight away. We decided to go to a back five because the gaps were far too open. They won every header. They kept crossing and crossing. So we went to a back five to close the gaps inside and be stronger in the air, because straight after our goal, with no substitution, we just conceded way too many crosses and way too many chances. So we tried to help, but of course the responsibility is on the coach. And if it doesn't go wrong, it's easy to say that it was. If it doesn't go well, it's easy to say that it was wrong.
Given the point in the game that it was there ever any thought process in your mind about maybe trying to go for the second goal?
Yeah, but it doesn't help if you don't have the ball. If we couldn't get out, of course we wanted to go for the second goal, but I had not the feeling that offensive substitution would help. It was we stayed in our 4-4-2, but became passive, more and more passive. We couldn't win any balls, couldn't keep the ball. So I think it was not a structural problem. We changed nothing after the goal, but the match changed completely. But again, it's no problem. I can understand that these discussions are out there, and like, of course, million of coaches after the game who know it better. Yeah.
I guess the question would be as well, though, did it perhaps invite more pressure on a defence that had already put so much into previous matches?
Well, you can discuss this with a million coaches. I have to make a decision on the pitch. That's how I analyze the match, and I did the decision, and I take the responsibility.
No regrets over that then? Any other regrets, Thomas?
No, in the moment, no regrets. The team gave everything, and we were very, very close. I think we deserved to be up 1-0. Played one of our better matches, maybe the best match in the circumstances. Team was top. We couldn't bring it over the line. No, in the moment, no regrets.
You mentioned throughout the tournament that we'd see a better England. Did we ever really see Thomas Tuchel's England that you wanted to see?
I don't know. I have no answer to that question, because I don't really know what that means. It's I don't know. I think we saw the mentality throughout the match, and the strong group, and we played the matches how they were. We played a strong against strong teams in the group. We had a lot of miles, a lot of traveling. We played in altitude. We played in 10 men. We played in the heat. We overcame every obstacle. We were very, very close today. It's not the moment now to analyze the full tournament. We just went out because we lost a crucial match.
Thanks for your time, Thomas.
So he said they were too passive. It wasn't a structural problem. He takes responsibility. There is a frightening stat here, Wayne, that England had 12% possession between going ahead and Argentina's winner. That's passive.
Yeah, it was too passive, and but that's what top managers do. Top managers see the game, which he see in the game. He said, listen, he didn't change anything, but Argentina started coming on to him. That's why he made the change. But the top managers counteract what's going on and don't go in and then go even deeper and let them come on even deeper. What they do, they go a bit more front-footed and try and change the tempo and rhythm of the game. So I think he got it wrong.
Is it the nature of being a manager, though, that there have been games in this tournament where his changes have been praised to the hill and have made a difference for England, even if you want to go right back to that very first game that we all did together against Croatia? Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong.
Of course, I think that's what Thomas Tuchel's getting at there. He's very aware, and he's going to defend himself. Of course he is. He's very aware that those decisions have been praised throughout this tournament. But he knows, even though he's not an Englishman, he knows what it is to be an English manager. I'm sure it's the same in Germany, and Nagelsmann would have received exactly the same criticism, because ultimately you live and die by your decisions, and the decision to sit in and take that 11-12% that you just talked about, that Chappers, comes from the manager. Just like when we win the game, he gets the praise for people like Dan Burn and that paying off. So he knows it's coming. But it's in hindsight. But I think ultimately the main thing is he's absolutely devastated, because he came in and he really felt like he could win with England.
Well, we had to pick it apart, didn't we? You know, in terms of, I've said all tournament, I love Tuchel, how brave he is, decisions to make, in-game substitutions, we've all praised him for. But tonight, on the biggest stage, he got it wrong, and he's got to accept that. There's nothing wrong with that. I like the fact the way we was all talking about there was no Foden, or there was no Palmer.
Cole Palmer.
Yeah, we talked about them
No
so
Trent.
much. No Trent. and we had to, you know, abide by what he was doing.
Well,
and we give him credit for that. But
because we stopped talking about it after 2 games, because it was that's the biggest compliment you can give.
Correct.
Yeah, but we were talking about it after the 3rd game and the 4th game.
Yeah.
I think with respect to some of the teams, even Croatia, you know, the teams who he's made the changes against and the teams which we stuttered out the line, let's be honest about it. Yeah. He can get away with making them changes and getting away with it. Against this team, the world champions, you will not get away with it. So this has been a big test and we failed it.
Do you think we've been a bit negligent with Scaloni? Because obviously we talk about Lionel Messi dictating this team, but he had some big calls to make in this game as well.
Difficult to disagree with any of his substitutions.
And he's made them. And like I say, Lionel Messi will have all the headlines, and even the coach is willing to not be that guy. He's willing to let Lionel Messi. But we talk about coaches making decisions in big moments. He's made them again today, and his team are going to another World Cup final.
And bigger picture, finally. If somebody had said before the tournament, England will go out to the defending champions in the semi-finals, do you think you'd have taken that? No.
You'll never take it. No. I know what you're saying.
I'm not saying you take it now because everybody's hurting and fuming and everything that comes with losing the World Cup semi-final. But you know what I'm trying to say.
This is a different dissection to certainly a tournament that I've gone out of. I went out at the group stage, my last tournament with England. That is a different dissection. That's a lot of blame. People probably losing their jobs, people losing their place in the England team. This is a different dissection because of the level that England are at. This is a tactical, these are the levels that we're talking about. So admittedly, like you said, you shake hands, don't you? Sometimes you get beat by the better team. We got beat by the better team today. And you wouldn't accept it when you're given it, but it's a slightly different headline. But that's the level that England have got to, and that's why we've got to have the tactical kind of how we've broken this down.
It's when you 1-0 up with, what was it, 20 minutes to go?
Yeah.
No,
72 minutes, yeah.
17 minutes to go, you're 1-0 up. Then you're thinking, right, come on. This is where I was looking for Thomas Tuchel to say, come on, you be the difference now. You be the reason we get to the World Cup final. You be the difference why we go and win the World Cup final. And unfortunately, he didn't manage to.
Yeah, just obviously to wrap up, I'm just absolutely devastated for the lads, the effort that they put in. But really, we got beat by a better team, and I didn't believe that they were a better team before the game started, and that's why it's so devastating. It's just moments in the game. Messi showed up, and our guys couldn't quite get it going after that first goal we scored.
Right, thank you Wayne, thank you Joe, thank you Micah. Argentina against Spain will be the first World Cup final between the current champions of the Copa America and the current European champions. Doesn't feel like that's much